Obviously, you're not a golfer.
You want a toe? I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know about it, believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. That rug really tied the room together, did it not?
Hello, yes it did. It tied it together. Unlike this movie that we're getting ready to watch. Hello and welcome to this podcast really ties the room together. My name is Joseph Eastwood Fresh, Mr. James Koppel. How you doing, sir?
Could not be better.
Yes, sir. Sunday morning, about 9:20, and we're having Manhattans made out of a mix of some Maker's 101 and some 1792. My favorite bourbon, but happened to be in Sam's Club, and it was like $20.
Yeah, you know,
can't really beat that.
I'm buying just about any kind of bourbon for $20.
Yeah. Old granddads.
Not Jim, not Jack.
No, they had a bunch of Gentleman Jack there. I remembered our episode.
Gentleman Jack. Oh, it is an elevated Jack.
It's elevated, but it's still.
I
like to drink on a plane, so I always have elevated booze. Yeah, what's like the worst of the worst there? You got your Jim Beam. Beam's better than Jack by far.
I used to debate that all the time with Rob because Rob was a Jim guy and I was a Jack guy.
Oh yeah,
in high school.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Back when you were sophisticated
really
drinkers,
sophisticated palates,
you were slamming it down.
Yeah.
Hey, nice Masters of the Universe shirt.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I don't really know what would be the bottom of the barrel.
No, Old Granddad's is actually not the worst bourbon, but it's usually like what, $24 or something like that.
Yeah,
like the lowest of the low. And then you got your Canadian Club. That's just whiskey though.
Yeah,
it's not technically the same thing. But all right, we are doing. Sorry to get off on the subject there. We're doing. We talk about movies and whatever on here. We are doing this week. I don't know why do we even do this? It's in the title. If you download the podcast or click on the YouTube,
it seems more professional to introduce things.
I guess
and we are absolutely top-notch professionals.
If nothing else. Are we still recording? Yeah, we are. Is there a red light on the cameras? Okay, yes, Witchcraft. It came out December 31st, 1986. Witchboard. I keep calling it. I even wrote down Witchcraft.
We technically watched the wrong movie.
I was going to say, let's just get it out there. We watched the wrong movie. Koppel had watched Witch Trap, which sounds great, and I could never get it in my head, and I just texted you that night, Witchboard?
Yeah.
And you were like, sure. And I was like, all right. And then I started watching Witchboard, and I was like, this doesn't add up. This is okay.
This is not
it's a bad movie. I had never seen it. I guess I'm glad I saw it.
This is not what Koppel was describing to me at all, though.
This is not almost a softcore porn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it works. It works.
Yeah, it was.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
There was nudity, so
there
it
was
wasn't
a little
that far
bit of
off.
nudity. So here's my first hot take out of the gate. Tawny Katane.
Yeah.
I had to do the ins and outs for the Witch board. They obviously wanted to call it Ouija board. Mm-hmm. It's owned by Mattel or something probably. Yeah. So they had to call it Witchboard. They never say Witchboard in the movie. They always refer to it as.
There's not even a witch in the movie.
It's the most low stakes horror movie that's probably ever been made. At one point, July came downstairs and I was like, it's fine. I was like, there's nothing in this. This is going to. So I was like, at the beginning of a movie, they have nudity, violence, scary situations.
There was none of those. There was a little nudity.
There was a little nudity, and it was the worst nudity of all. I was like, here's my hot take. Tawny Katane, I thought she probably had a pretty good career. She's the White Snake video girl. That's her first, whatever. Did not. She had 2 movies, couple movies. The White Snake video is literally top of her list.
She was on a reality show.
She starred a lot in the Hercules series with the right winger. What's his name? Kevin Sorbo. Kip. With the crazy right winger Sorbo that people like to say things like, well, we have Kevin Sorbo, and people say things like, you better get a VHS player. So that was her career. Here's my hot take on her. She's nothing but hair.
Yeah.
She's hair and eyes. That's it. There is a nudity scene because I was, my wife included when we're watching a horror movie. If it says nudity, we're like, here's what we want from our horror movies. We want them to be a little bit sexy. We want them to be a little bit scary, and a little bit silly. Unless we're like going for like full on horror. That's not my wife's deal though. She doesn't go for the actual like like Terrifier. She's gonna walk out of the nope, that's not for me. This is none of those things. She's literally hair.
Yeah.
Every outfit she has on until she gets possessed is horseshit. She looks awful. Sorry, WDBX. Welcome downtown Carbondale in the midnight hour. Thanks for listening. We're on so many platforms now. I get a little confused. But I'm never going to forget the little people of Carbondale that got us here in the first place. I'll never forget you little fans that got me up here.
Yeah.
I see little Jimmy Kimmel doing his thing.
I will say, like, she can look extremely attractive.
Maybe it was just the team on this movie.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Kevin Turney.
Because in all the White Snake videos, let's I'm not gonna beat around the bush. She was smoking.
I remember her being.
She's smoking in that picture. Like when she's dressed up like that, it looks,
when
she looked like a completely different person.
She's dressed
in the
like
movie.
Angus Young. She looks real hot. No, I agree. But for the most part of this movie, she was dressed like a grandma.
Yeah. So if you saw her at Walmart,
yeah, you'd be like, oh, that's.
You'd be like, I mean, that's
her
Tony.
hair.
You'd be like, that's Tony.
Yeah, I would be like, ooh, that hair or something. But there's an Italian actress. We should have watched Demones. It's an Italian movie I love about demons that take over a locked-in theater.
I thought it was like French or Italian for the mayonnaise.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, demons. And so it's like a movie within a movie. So they're watching a horror movie that you're watching with them, but then also the theater gets taken over by demons. So but anyway, there's a redheaded actress in it, and her name just jumped out of my brain, who would just. She's a smoke show compared to Tawny Kitaen. She has, if you're going on hair and eyes, because I think that's what she has going. She's got a nice smile, but I don't know. She was not. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, I remember Tawny Kitaen being like the chick from Weird Science or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I saw her and I was like, oh, that's Tawny Kitaen. All right. And then you finally get a nude scene, and there's nothing sexy about it. It's just like a weird overhead shot in the shower that doesn't show off her figure at all.
She could have easily just pushed the shower head. But we'll get to that. You're
right. I didn't even there's a scene. Let's jump
no
to
longer
it. It doesn't matter. There's a scene where she gets locked in the shower. She can't open the door, and the shower head's spraying hot water on her, I guess. If you had your water heater set correctly, it wouldn't. But anyway, it's just spraying with hot water. Yeah, you're right. Turn the thing towards the wall.
Yep, that's spraying the floor now. She wouldn't have had to grab that towel.
I gave her
head.
credit. I was like, man, that's smart thinking. I don't know if I would have thought of that quickly. First of all, I don't have a towel in the shower with me.
Right.
Because part of it's going to get damp while it's hanging up there, and only a psychopath would do that.
I do that.
Oh, boy. Let's see what Shark's up to next weekend. Shark was not jealous, but he's wanting to come be like the but on camera, but be the like I didn't watch it. Like when intern Kyle's not here, he was like, oh, that's perfect for me.
He's gonna have way too many opinions though for a guy that didn't watch it. Versus Kyle, you never hear anything from.
Right. He'll be like, I'm going to tell you right now, that kind of tie was not available in 1986. See the molding on that door? That kind of molding only came into fashion. Like, what? Your expertise is expanded beyond history, politics, and economics. Yeah. He starts telling us.
It's like I've read everything about those. I have to branch out.
He's talking like Armani suits never came in that color.
Not that exact. It was.
All right, let's get into it. 1986. This came out December 31st. What do you think the number one song was? December. This is called the ins and the outs for
December
for
86.
Witchboard. God, bored. Think about it. You were bored watching it. I wanted to watch it on 1.25 speed, but it's no longer a thing.
Give me a hint here.
Oh yes, number one song. One of my faves, one of my wife's favorite bands, starts with a. It's like a. Oh, it's just it's a Bengals song. We got plenty of songs to choose from, but you probably know what it is now that I told you Bengals. Christmas time.
Yeah.
Not walking like Santa Claus, walking like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
If you would ask me, I would say
Not
that.
walking on sunshine.
No, not walking on my heart. If you would have asked me, I would have said that was like a spring, summertime song.
Yeah.
But maybe it just held on.
Yeah.
Back then, there weren't as many
well,
songs.
MTV,
as there is.
it was on,
Yeah.
every fifth song for
Great song.
3 years.
Great song. There's a great bluegrass version of it. It can be found out there. Just type in bluegrass, walk like an Egyptian. It's a bunch of old farts that look like they're going to play, whatever. And they start busting into that. Number one movie.
86?
86, Christmas time. Couple. One, not classics, but like people, you'd know them. And you know at least two of them quite well. The number one movie, Star Trek 4. It had a subtitle.
I would have never guessed it.
The Golden Child. Number two.
I was just watching that 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was the hold up?
I still love it.
Really?
Lacey fell asleep.
The effects don't bring it down?
No.
Or are they charming? Sometimes bad effects can be charming in movies.
Look, it never was like
Never
an
great.
Oscar.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just, it was all about Eddie Murphy was
Yeah.
still like, he was descending from his prime, but he was still
Yeah.
in his prime.
Yeah.
And that's all I cared about in 86 when I was 11 was it's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to drop an F-bomb and it'll be hilarious,
Yeah, I can forgive a lot of those movies, bad special effects, especially if I am thinking about the craft of the movie and, what the money was and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes even without any of that, it just kind of adds to the charm of the movie if it's a little wacky.
Like the end scene of this movie.
Oh, my dear God. When the Ouija board gets attacked. Number two song, Bobby Brown.
Oh, B. Brown.
It's a song I don't know. Michelle was like, you'd know it if you heard it, called Girlfriend. And then this one she knew, I didn't. Control.
Control.
Janet Jackson. Number
Now I'm all grown up. Jam.
Oh, yeah. Number three movie. Everybody, of our age knows this movie, Crocodile Dundee. That's not a spoon. I see you've played Knifey Spoony before. That's a Simpsons joke. Number one show. Good to see something taking out the cause just in December. It looked like the Cosby was number one for the year, but in December, and maybe this is one of those mid-run shows where it wasn't reruns, a show about your wife. She's one of the participants.
My wife?
Your wife. Cagney and Lacey.
Cagney and Lacey.
Was number one show in December.
Little detective.
Yeah. I couldn't find much about Kevin Tenney, the director of this and writer. I don't think he did much else besides that. Do I have any other notes for Witchboard before we get into it? Nope. That's for Candyman. All right. Spoiler. We're doing Candyman next week.
Now we got to release Candyman first.
Candyman.
Or people would just be let down with the drama.
Candyman. We'll get into
There
it.
will be no official
Tune in next
introduction.
time. Tune in next time.
There will be no need because they already know
They
the
know.
Candyman's coming.
It's not like they can read it on the title. It's literally the first thing it says. Witchboard starts out, 1986 Witchboard, starts out at a party. And I immediately was like, I don't like these people.
Yeah.
Because of the way they were dressed at the party.
Yeah.
If you had to dress this way to go to a party these days, I would never go to a party. Not that I go to many parties. But
Either parties at my house, parties at your house, or we don't go.
yeah, we make our own parties. But if I had to go to a place and they were like, hey, you got your suit and tie on? There's one guy, what's his name? Spoilers, he dies later, who's dressed like a regular person.
Right.
Except he's not. He's got sunglasses on the whole time. Sorry. And
It's like a
these are my prescription
long
glasses.
sleeve T-shirt that's white and it's got the blue sleeves
Yep.
that were hot in the 80s.
He's got blue blockers, sunglasses. He's got the belt that's like the punk rock belt that's got like the diamond pattern between the metal studs. Everybody else. Oh, Jim's not dressed up though, is he?
Yeah,
Our hero,
He's kind of
our pro tag.
he's a button-up flannel kind of
That's
tucked
right.
in.
Everybody else is like suit and tie. He looks a little crummy, and in fact, they even pointed out he goes to the bathroom at one point, and or to the kitchen, and he says, "You're a little underdressed," and he's like, "I think those people are overdressed." And I'm like, "Oh, that was supposed to be that way." And then we have it's so confusing because it seems like Tawny Katane is with Donald Trump in this movie.
Right,
I
right.
call him Trump in the notes. He's not, but if you see the guy, you'll be like, "Oh, I get it." So he's sitting there, and instantly there's tension between Jim and Trump, and Trump's just like he's a dick,
Yeah.
like, plain and simple. And it seems
Unlike, of course, the actual Donald Trump.
yes, no, I'm not insinuating that. I'm just saying he looks like him. But this guy is a real jerk.
Yeah.
Or so it seems. And he's just, he's being a jerk to our boy Jim, smarting off to him. He's like, oh, what's your family tradition? I don't know, what he say it to him. I don't remember taking notes of that.
Family
detail.
tradition is drinking.
Drinking, yes. I wrote down, Tawny's hair looks awful.
Yeah.
For a woman who's all hair, it starts off looking like she's a grandma. Underdressed part, yep. We hear, did we pull out this Ouija board? And then this is where he starts his dickness. It's pronounced Ouija. And then this real educated guy, because he said he's like, Ouija, which this has to be, is this bullshit? He says, Ouija, it's a combination of the French and German. It means
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
free speech or something.
What did he say?
They're taking away your freedoms. Pretty soon, you won't even be able to say Ouija.
Yeah.
I think it's a devil's toy, though. You think we should outlaw Ouija? I don't like it. Barron brought one home one time. I forbid it.
That's how Biden came to be.
That's how Biden came.
Barron brought out Biden.
Barron brought a Ouija home.
I'm just gonna talk about this real quick.
Okay.
This is the kind of movie that I hate, plot-wise, because there is no.
No stakes.
It's every part of is misunderstanding. It's this
Yes.
entire movie is lack of communication between people.
Yeah, it's a sitcom.
Other than that, there is no issue with these people. Had
There's no threat either, really.
no. Had Jim and Donald Trump just told Tawny Katane that they used to be really good friends, and something happened and it drove a wedge between them, she would have never invited Donald Trump to this party. There would have never been any issue, and nothing would have happened.
Now, Jim does say, I told you he was an a-hole. But we don't. That's about as far as it
And
goes.
Tawny Katane is obviously
But
a terrible girlfriend / wife
She is
/ whatever.
Awful.
Because
She has no boundaries
No.
with exes. And, well, first of all, I thought she was with Trump because she's like sitting with him, rubbing his shoulders.
Right.
Like, look, for all intent and purpose, I was like, oh, that's okay. They're together.
Right.
Jim's mad.
Why would he not be pissed?
Yeah,
You know?
Jim's mad. That's why Jim's so angry.
Right.
The whole time. No, and then like it doesn't. It waits until they go to bed, and then you see Jim sitting in bed, and he's like, "Told you not to invite that guy." You're like, "Wait,
It's just
you're Jim's girlfriend."
It's just really lazy writing to
It's
me.
so lazy. It's so lazy writing.
Like there could have been all kinds of problems, but there weren't. It was just self-created.
Yes, it was and then. It was and then writing. There's one guy they thought they got real creative with, and that's a detective who likes to talk about magic every time he shows up. You ever heard of Siegfried and Roy? They're the best magicians I ever saw. Like, wait. And
Even they couldn't explain away what happened here, murderer.
you know what I like about magic even more than magic? Figuring out how they did it. And then brilliant Jim, who went to mid school. He keeps saying mid school.
Right.
I went to mid school. Did you mid? Had some low grade weed. Had some mids there, man. He went to mid school. He says, that, wait, I forgot what I was talking about. Low grade weed made me laugh. But yeah, Jim, we find out they're together. She gets the Ouija. No freaking way. This one barely got started. We don't have a middle bit anyway. She gets the Ouija, and he tells us that's how it's pronounced. And he's an avid Ouija guy.
Even though he's an atheist, he doesn't
Even
believe
though
in,
he's
doesn't believe in
even though
God. Or
he's an educated guy. He is an atheist. He doesn't believe in God, but he believes in reincarnation. He says he has all Jesus. Where did I write
the
that?
guy's all over the place, man. Which is pretty dead on for the 80s. You know?
Oh, that's what I wrote in the kitchen. She says, "I love you," and he Han Solo's her.
Yeah,
He says, "I know." He drinks Jack Daniels straight from the bottle. He does a thing where he takes the lid off and then.
I hate drinking scenes like that too. I hate when people are angry in films and they act exactly like that dude did.
Absolutely.
It's terrible. It's the.
I know when I'm
Like,
angry.
nobody
That's what I do.
drinks like that.
I love to drink, but I know when I'm angry. You know what I don't do? I'm not interested in drinking.
No.
Has little to do with anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Maybe we should start chugging whiskey when we get mad. Seems like only a good outcome.
Yeah. It works in the movies.
They call this boy what the hell's his name? David. And Trump says, I've talked to David. David's a good guy. People don't like. Why don't they like David? He's 8. He died when he was 8 years old. 10 years old. We have a secret. Only David and I know this.
Lets me know it's him.
We have a secret signal none of the ghosts know about.
Man, they made that a cool little scene, didn't they? Stop. Everybody stop. That's not David. That's not David.
Letting you know, they can trick you sometimes. He says sometimes they lie. And they're
Spirits.
The spirits. They're lousy spellers.
These spirits.
There's so many these spirits right here.
Sometimes they lie.
Sometimes they lie to you. That's why when I'm angry, I chug them down. They say, you're not angry.
That girl wants you to come hit on her.
It's all right to
think
be
she
angry,
does.
right? You can smack a broad if they did something wrong.
Sounded like your great grandfather there.
A little bit. They get a hold of, I keep wanting to call him Jackie, David. I did write down, Tawny needs some boundaries. She needs to talk about boundaries with her boyfriend.
He needs to talk about it with her, for sure.
Either way.
He needs to put his foot down in that relationship. Like every man should.
They contact David. David's a little boy. He says he knows so many GD rules about the Ouija.
Yeah.
And he says, like, they can pick who they want to come back as. So if they find
or who their parents will be, yeah.
he can pick who their parents will be.
And he's really connected to this Ouija.
He's really connected to this Ouija, and it's just I can't remember all the rules.
Oh, man.
Anyway, they connect David, and Tawny is just like overwhelmed by this. She's like, "Wow, this is so cool." That pretty much. Oh yeah, Jim pisses off David.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, David, what's the matter? You dead or something, kid?" Like just basically starts. Like, you know, hounding this 10-year-old kid.
What's he got to worry about? He's dead.
To which, you know, Trump just keeps getting madder and madder. Disrespectful. There's a fly. I don't like flies. I don't know if you steal. Anyway.
We know where this fly came from.
There's a big bang outside. It came in with all the immigrants. There's a big bang outside, and our boy...
As the Ouija
flies up, that's right. And our boy in the cool blue blockers runs to the window and says, "Multiple sadness, dude." He says, "Your tires are who owns the red vet or whatever
the
it is?
Red Cobra.
Red Cobra. He had a cobra? The tires are shot. They cuts to them outside.
Yeah.
Tires blow. Then we realize she's with the loser. Next day, she goes right back to the Ouija board. And she immediately asked this kid if she wants to be their son because she's pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, first of all,
You don't know this.
Trump told her not to do that.
Yes,
you
do not.
never.
And you should listen to Trump.
Yeah, you never do the Ouija board by yourself. You always need a.
You need, yep. And he told her there's liars sometimes. You gotta, and you could fall into
What was that?
retro. God damn.
I should have took
Entrapment possession.
Yeah,
entrapmental possessions.
Yeah, which is, very Trumpian.
That's when we find out she asked him to be her son. Then we find out that these guys were best buds, and he went to med school and to blah 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 blah. And somewhere in this conversation, it's his buddy. There's an axe. Well, by the way, we see this axe on top of a thing. It doesn't matter.
Roofer's axe, I believe.
Roofer's axe.
Or Roofer's hammer. So it's got the hammer, and then it's got the axe on the.
Nice call. I did not realize that. Did not know that. And this guy, somewhere he says something about brain cells, and this is when I had to just put down a note to myself. Remember how much we heard about brain cells growing up? There was brain cell talk all over growing up. It was like you only have this many amount of brain cells. This kills brains. Smoking kills brain cells. Drinking kills brain cells.
This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
That's right. Hitting yourself in the head, getting in a fight kills your brain cells. Everything kills brain cells, and you have a finite amount, and that you're never going to have any more brain cells. And if you kill those brain cells, you're just going to end up stupid. You're going to get stupider and stupider. Blah, blah. I haven't heard anybody talk about brain cells in 25 years.
No.
Maybe 30.
No.
Nobody.
Maybe it's just because we're so stupid now that we can't understand that they're still talking about it, and we're just too dumb.
Brain, huh?
It's a theory.
I hadn't even heard the term brain cells.
Why would you become a stuntman at that point if you know
brains.
the more jarring is going to kill more brain cells, or you're just going to end up dumber?
Say that's what
a boxer.
I was going to say football players. Why do you think that?
Boxers usually aren't brain surgeons to begin with? Whenever they go in, it's kind of why they become boxers, I think.
I don't want to comment about sporting ball people, but yeah.
Touchdown.
David tells her he sneaks up on the brain on her. Is that it? Oh no, David tells her there's a ring in the. There's all these scenes of half this goddamn movie is just a picture of a Ouija board with a plant here moving around it.
Yeah.
David tells her there's a ring under the.
Yeah, she
sink.
lost her ring.
Yeah, so she goes there and she gets underneath the kitchen sink and it is spotless.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all
drain spotless.
I don't know if you've all ever pulled out the little. What's it called? It's not the little trap there in the tube, but
I think they call that a ring trap.
That's right. Catch that ring. She pulls it out. She sticks her finger in it, which no more of her.
Yeah. Well, I think that was to build some uneasy drama.
Some tension
there.
is what that was supposed to be.
She was going to get sucked in. And
now, if she would have came out with a wad of like hair
or
then
just
I would
goo,
I would have been like, whoa. When she started gagging,
right?
Then you got something. You got a little
piece of
bit,
corn.
I feel a little bit like Shark here, but nobody's trap underneath this sink is as clean. Like it's so clean. Secondly, she's trying to fish it out with a toothbrush. Just take the other side off and turn it upside down.
Right.
That was driving me insane.
Especially with how old that house was. This was a mansion, by the way.
Yeah.
And I guess I picked up.
Yeah, you're right.
3/4 of the way through the movie that wasn't just their house. That was like an apartment. Like there were apartments in there. I guess because there were other people. I think there were other people.
I did not put that together.
That house was enormous.
It was so big,
and it clearly used to be the guy. Well, I hate to spoil, but yeah.
Oh, you're right.
To spoil.
You're probably right, though. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a spoil.
We'll save it.
David comes in. She just like starts. He scares her, and she's like, she starts cursing him out, and he's like, "Language, babe."
Yeah. Yeah, Jim's like, you've never cursed before, ever.
Yeah, you've never said gosh or darn. It's the worst I've ever heard.
Until you've met this David kid.
This David kid's got you cursing. Between that and then, the cool guy gets smashed by a roof at work at the construction site.
Jim had just stood up.
He says, "You think I care about employment, man?" The cool guy puts on his glasses, and then out of nowhere, this roof falls down on him, kills him. I'm not really sure how. It looks pretty harmless.
I mean, it would have hurt.
It would have hurt, sure.
So here's the thing: is they made a big production about showing Jim's roofing
hammer. That's right.
and how it's sitting up there on top of the drywall. Mm-hmm. And then that was it was a big deal.
Well, I think that's just so the magic detective
Could say that
can
it was,
say your roofing hammer was there and now it's disappeared.
We think that's what cut the ropes.
Yes, and later we're going to find out
that there were no ropes on.
There was no ropes, but later there's some ropes that get cut, which make me think this demon is just a great rope cutter.
Yeah,
he sees a rope. He's like, I can hurt people one of two ways. I can trick them or possess them. I can cut some rope.
Right.
If he can cut a rope, why can't he just cut you?
Right.
That was my instant like.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If he can like corporeal, is that the right word? Like to be able to touch and like have sentience over your.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the word
if he
is.
has the ability to hurt. To do this, then he can hurt you.
Right.
This is what I'm saying.
Right.
If he can tip this glass over, that's the whole thing about ghosts that I've never got.
Right.
The whole like they like to stack stuff up and they pull drawers out and they throw stuff around the room. So if they can affect that, why aren't they just picking you up and throwing you around the room?
Yeah.
Seems a little fishy to me.
Yeah, and it's not like you could retaliate. So they're not worried about retaliation because
If I
they
was
dematerialize again.
If I was a deterializing demon, invisible man, I mean, I'd be up to all kind of shenanigans.
Yeah,
It wouldn't just be with the
No.
drawers.
No.
I'd be feeling titties.
I would at least
Sorry,
change it.
I just do something funny.
I would
there.
at least wait until like the peak moment in the show and change the channel, and just horrific. The last
full power, yeah.
Yeah, it's double overtime in this game. It's tied. Here comes, somebody's got the ball. They steal it. They come down. Now just change the channel. Like what the?
Not bad. Better than filling them booties. Now, then we get a medium shows up.
Yeah.
Picture over here somewhere.
Which was in no way.
Oh no, not next week. Hey, there's Trump.
There he is. The comb over.
Comb over. There she is. Did you recognize this lady?
I do, but I didn't look up who it was. Is she in Ghostbusters? No.
No. Yeah, I know who you're thinking of. She was in a movie we did.
I don't know. Ooh, it's like a ghost just came through. You know how you get cold all of a sudden?
Happened to you?
Yeah,
She
came through. It felt like it was going in your direction.
Whoa!
I just,
Holy crap!
yeah,
Gets cold in there. I guess Witchboard.
scarier than anything that happened in this movie. I think right there.
Yeah, that scene. She is the chick that's totally horny for Dalton and Roadhouse.
Yeah,
And then of course she is Luke's
yeah.
sister in Gilmore Girls.
She.
But she's the chick that brings Dalton breakfast, and he
Yeah.
gets up naked from bed because all of us hot guys sleep
Right.
in the nude. In our barn.
Luckily, he had
in our
summer.
open-
He had summer D.
He had summer D from that open air
He's
barn
like, I
loft.
shouldn't get. Oh wait, I got summer D.
He's like, holy crap, it's August.
Yeah, I'm totally getting up. I'm showing this off.
I'm in a barn loft in August. If I ever had summer D, it's now. Take this, waitress lady that brought me biscuits. I am God's gift to. It's a problem. When Patrick Swayze does it, it's all cool. If I do it, they're all freaked out.
Right.
I get
Yeah.
a series of text messages to my wife.
Why is your husband sleeping out in the barn loft in August? Why did he order these biscuits and gravy and make me bring them out here to him? Why did he get out naked?
It's
It's a plot to one of the movies we watched, basically.
It sounds
A lot creepier. Whatever.
really funny. We start getting smoky dreams. She has a dream. Tawny has a dream. Oh, yeah. The medium comes. David talks through her. She has the worst jokes in the world, the worst voice, everything that she chose.
The worst timing of the jokes more than anything, really.
Yeah, everything about her decisions and choices that she made was bad. The
Yeah.
makeup was bad.
Yeah.
Her jokes were bad. Like everything she did.
And they
was
call
like
her him, right?
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
I think
Her
s-
name is Vera. Wait, Vera Beth? Vera Beth.
Yeah.
Because she has another name. Because spoilers, after the medium, after she shows up and does the seance thing, which she's
And does 13 seconds of background check on the story.
yeah, yo, she lights candles. She starts breathing. She has a couple horrible jokes about like, I see a car ride in my future, just a little psychic humor. Like it's that.
Oh
type
no, I
of,
forgot my crystal ball.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I don't need.
But there's like 13
ball.
seconds.
between that
Right.
and the
I'm just kidding. It's like, the punchline should have came a lot quicker. Like,
Yeah, immediately. Everything's bad. Everything about her's bad.
Yeah.
She gets in. Zarabeth, that's her name. David comes through here later. We're gonna find out. Spoilers. This is a big moment in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they think this is like
huge.
Elton John coming out the Rolling Stone. It wasn't actually David.
Yeah.
What
was the guy's name? What was the
It was like malvoyance or something.
Yeah.
It was like, let's take some bad words and
which
put them
just
together.
means like evil or something,
Yes.
something in
Absolutely.
Portuguese.
Absolutely. Anytime you see, shoot.
Which doesn't sound Portuguese.
I'm a little foggy this morning, but like malice. People will basically take the word malice, and there's another one. You once you like realize it, you will see that the bad guys' names are almost always the same in movies like this, where they're like one version or another of it. Let's see here. Yep, the medium shows up. She dies. How's he kill her? I don't even know.
Out the window.
Out
She
the window.
falls on that sundial that they make specific.
Yes.
Whenever she gets home.
Yeah, it's set up pretty
She
well.
walks past that.
You see the sundial.
And it's got a big dial on it. I mean, big.
She's chased around by an invisible presence.
Right.
We don't see who.
Luckily, she shut the door so the ghost couldn't get in
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Yeah,
But then finds another route.
it did stop
in.
the ghost for a minute.
Finds another
It's
route.
like,
in.
oh wait, it's just drywall over here. I can't permeate wood.
Yeah, or go under it. Where the
I can't Dracula this shit. I can't turn it into ghost.
David's
fog.
he's only 10, man.
Actually 8. It's not David. David died when he was 10. Nobody knows David like I do. This kid's going places.
Oh man,
I'm
this movie.
personally put Baron in charge of him. He's gonna tutor the kid. He's gonna mentor him. This kid.
Did you watch Saturday Night Live last night?
I did
to get
not.
Not to get off track.
I heard the goat was on there.
It was awesome.
Oh, was
the
it?
opening. The opening.
I always watched it today, so I haven't done it because I've been preparing for the show this morning. But you know what I mean. I always watch it Sunday morning.
It was great.
Good. How was the goat? Did she have a new album, or she just singing? Is it
She
said
has
it-
a new song. I don't know if she has a new album.
Oh, okay.
And when she started singing it, I was like,
Oh no!
it was real. Like
I call her the goat because she's the greatest of all time.
yeah. But I don't know that she should still be singing, and I don't know that she wrote this song, but the song was very, very poignant.
Yeah. Okay. Point. You said there was a pro-choice commercial before.
Yeah, and the song led that led right into the song,
Okay.
which was all about women's rights. And
Oh,
I was like,
hey, good for her. I'm fine with that.
That's what, yeah, because I was like, and like I was getting ready to start ripping on her, start sending texts to Rob because Sam's a big goat fan, and then I was like, you know what? Hold up, let me.
My wife loves her, by the way. I can't talk shit about her.
The
Actually,
lyrics
like her.
are amazing in that song. So I was
Great.
like, you know what? I'm not gonna make fun of her.
Okay. I was making fun of her this morning just because you had mentioned her, and
I thought that some people.
I was singing that song that. Anyway, I was singing a song, then I got stuck in my head, and I was like, "Well, that's what I get."
I almost thought that I might need to send a text to clarify what I said, because what I said, I think, in the text was roughly, I think it's awesome or something that they had a pro-choice commercial right
Yeah.
before she sang, which you could take as she should have been aborted. After I like thought about it, I was like, Surely they'll read into that properly.
If that was on Twitter, you might want to clarify. By the way,
That's not what I was saying.
Medium dies. Trump shows back up. He's like, oh, Trump sees it on the news, and he hears everything in her name, and then they're like, she went professionally by Zarabeth, and he's like, Zarabeth. She died. So he calls up Jim. He runs over there. Trump shows up. And this is the most interesting part of the whole movie. Did you notice this? Jim has shaved nipples.
I don't think I noticed that.
Jim is hairy as can be. Jim's got like chest hair and it's got stripped
cut
down.
straight across too. So
Got
it's
straight
clearly
across.
shaved.
So it's been shaved here. But then
I did notice that.
just a half inch. He's got like a half-inch clearance. Around each nipple. And it just, once I saw it, and I pointed it out to my wife, it's all we could look at.
Well, yeah.
Like, what?
I don't know how I missed that, but I guess I wasn't looking
It's so weird.
at his nipples.
So
I
weird.
should have.
Trump says she could already be possessed. And then it's like, these are old buds fighting it out.
Yeah. Hashing out old trouble.
Yep. That's when you find out Jim's parents were drunk and were drunks, and basically he
Stayed at Trump's house.
He stayed at Trump's house to get away from the drunkenness, and that Trump was right. He should have stayed in med school, and and Trump is
Raised by Trump's parents.
Is this where Trump basically? And all Trump says like, I don't want to be an a-hole, but I see you guys together, and I can't help it. And he's like, you're still in love with her, aren't you? And then basically, like, once you, like you said at the very beginning of this, if some people would have just talked to each other,
this whole movie would have been
this whole movie could have been avoided.
It would have been,
it would never happen. I put before she's died, she has a weird song on the medium. Doesn't matter. Shaved nipples. Detective comes back with more magic. And this is when Jim is smoking in a hospital, which I love to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just can I go see her?
Just hitting a stick right in the middle of the waiting room.
Which I do remember people smoking in hospital, and then like you could just smoke in like the waiting room.
Did I make it up? Do I remember smoking in theaters? I feel like you could smoke in the old Granada.
Yeah, they had the flip open, flip shut ashtray on the armrest.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought I remember that, but I also thought like that can't be the case.
Yeah.
I made that up. I was like, man.
But I think it was only
like Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. Cracking up, spread smoke.
I think that was there was only one of the three theaters or whatever, however many we had.
Do you remember the theater in the mall?
Yeah.
I barely remember it.
Yep.
Detective comes back. He's all about magic.
I went and saw Golden Child there, actually.
Oh, there we go.
And Out of
Tying it
Africa
together.
twice. I was like, what? 12?
That's not good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Detective comes back. He's still talking about magic. Everything he says has something to do with magic to begin with.
We should have spent a lot more time talking about this detective because he's the biggest character in the movie.
He really is. They gave him the most time, like writing, which they thought they did, but it was literally just like he's going to talk about magic.
Yeah, it's actually garbage. But
you know, one time I saw this magician. He made an elephant disappear, but I knew that elephant wasn't really gone. He didn't really disappear.
He didn't?
What? He just put it somewhere where you couldn't see it. Eventually, that elephant's going to come back out. And very often, Jim's like, we're not talking about magic here, are we? No, we're not, Jim. We're talking about you murdering your friend.
We're talking about the election.
And Jim, once again, no communication. Jim never once says, Louis was my best buddy. I wouldn't have killed Louis.
Right.
I had no reason to kill you. I have no motivation to kill Louis. I know this seems crazy.
Why
my
would
hammer's
you say,
missing.
I had just stood up myself, and I was lucky not to be there with
Yeah, like he was laying down. He made some smart ass comment. And I was getting ready to turn around and zing him, and bam.
Yep. It's just all about which plays into how the movie kind of ends. He finally communicates.
Yeah, right. Trump and him go to a library, and this is going to tie into our next movie. I told my wife, I'm always happy. My wife, when I see somebody going to a library and going through microfiche.
I was going to bring it up. It legitimizes a little bit the movie. It really does.
I don't know what I mean.
Was that in this movie or was that in?
It was in both. It's in both of them. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it, but it's such a trope in movies.
Yeah,
but when you see it, it's essentially it's today. It's just somebody typing on Google and
Right.
looking up the story or whatever. But back then it was like, well, how are they going to find this out? Well, they got to go to the library and look at microfiche, which I remember going there, the trips to the library where they would be like, this is what you need to look up. This is how you research. I've never used it once.
No, me either. I just pulled out the encyclopedia and like 3 other reference books and then just bastardized basically what they said and switched all the words around, but just literally copied everything that was in there. That's how I wrote papers.
Microfiche. I bet it's all online nowadays. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Tawny's alone in the hospital. I don't know how she got in the hospital. I don't remember. Oh, the bros have another heart to heart. There's so many heart to hearts between these bros. I didn't know.
That was the cop. Hold on. She got in the hospital because she was attacking Jim.
Oh, that's right.
And he kind of knocked her out.
That's right.
And then, like, everyone else that lived in that house was standing in the doorway watching. He's like, call the ambulance. She's hurt.
Yeah, that's right. But then she attacks cop, right? Is that scene?
Was later.
That's later. Okay.
That's later.
Anyway, the Trump goes to a graveyard. He gets scared by Jim.
He's holding the
Unneeded
flashlight
scene.
so
oddly. And when he gets scared, he overreacts.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-second scene of him recovering.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He does all this business.
There was also an odd delay in him being scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it took like 2 seconds longer for him to get scared than what it should have.
They find out David, his parents died on the same day that he did. Couple years later or something, and they're like, "What if it wasn't?"
It was like a year before the '86, I guess.
Yes, and
So
they're like,
it's like David had planned this out, and then he'd killed his own parents to protect or to.
It's something like that because they're very like
it wasn't explained.
They're like, "What if it was an accident?" And they look at each other and say, "What if it wasn't?" Like it was a big deal, and I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah,
I don't understand this movie.
That's on the cutting floor somewhere.
Then they have another heart to heart. Still love her that scene. Tawny's in the hospital, and she gets out of the hospital. This is where I wrote down: all movies get hospitals wrong.
Yeah,
people in hospitals and movies, they're always dark. The hospital's dark as can be, and there's no one around.
Yep.
It's just empty. It's silent. And if you've ever had to spend a lot of time in the hospital, which unfortunately I have. They're anything but silent.
Yep.
They're the noisiest. They're impossible to sleep in. People are constantly up and down the halls. There's beeping. There's lights. There's alarms going off. It's god awful.
Yep.
It's definitely not dark, and there's definitely not empty.
Yeah.
But this is a recurring theme that I see in horror movies, especially when they're in hospitals.
Yeah.
I understand they don't have any money. They were literally
you have
like,
to play it up that way for the killer to get in or the person to get out.
I guess, but no, I mean, you can have. Why not make it real? Have all the things.
Somewhat real in Candyman.
Yeah, a little bit. There's I guess it was a little bit. It was better.
It shouldn't be that easy to get out of a
There's,
middle. Sorry, jumping ahead.
The best hospital scene in a horror movie is in The Exorcist 3. You ever watched The Exorcist 3?
I don't think I went that far.
Exorcist 3 is phenomenal.
I think I watched the first and the second, and after that, I was like, you know what, I'm good.
Brad Dourif stars as the possessed person, and he's in prison, and these insane murders keep happening, and they're just like, it's almost like Seven or something. Like people be murdered like right underneath somebody's nose, and like all their blood will be removed and put into 85 vials next to the bed, or just weird stuff like that. And George C. Scott is the actor. He's just, God damn it, he's so angry the whole time. They're murdering children.
I never see him as anything other than Patton.
But there's great, he's great in it. He's just so fired up and angry. And the hospital, there's a hospital kill scene in it that is genuinely the greatest jump scare that you will ever see in your life. I think, because it's the way it's done in the hospital and the way they get you really familiar with this hall, and then all of a sudden nothing's happening. And you're just staring at the hallway that, you know, there's been activity, but suddenly it ceases, and then something happens that you, like, I don't care who you are, who you see it, you'll be like, oh, fuck. Oh, sorry. I'm so close. Anyway, check that out. If nothing else, just look up jump scare from Exorcist 3. Malfeasance. I tried to write down his name. Malfeasance is here. They have the Ouija. They go, so Trump and his buddy, they're like, Trump's like, let's do this along the beautiful shores of America. And they're doing the Ouija on this dock.
Who cares if the water line comes up? It's just more oceanfront property.
Kamala should have been there. She was there? Well, that's not where she should have been. I take it. No, he wouldn't take anything back.
Never.
David keeps saying, he gets a hold of his David. Not the bad David, his David. And he's like, David, did you talk to, was that you that came through that crazy lady? And he's like, nope. And they're like, oh, no, who was it? And he says, keep seeing evil. He won't tell him who it is. He just says evil.
Right.
He says, where is this evil? And he finally says,
he's 10 years old. He can't spell that.
that's right. He says he's a bad speller sometimes. Trump says, I
can't spell it.
Listen, some states are not going to do well when I pull out the education department. Some kids are not going to be able to spell. Okay, we're going to weed out. We're going to weed out the dumb ones. The Democratic states, they're not. It's not.
They've got bad genes
not
anyway.
going to go well in Illinois and California. I'm not a tyrant. I'm a good guy. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus.
And accordions.
And accordions with my little creepy hands. I got baby hands. Look at my baby hand. He says it's her. I say he's misspelled it. It's here. And just then,
he spells it like 3 freaking times
Yeah.
wrong, by the way. How stupid is this kid, by the way? Anyway, sorry.
you forgot about that silent E.
Yeah. It's like they understood you.
He says Malfear is here. And this is what I talked about earlier. This demon's great at cutting ropes.
Yeah.
He cuts these ropes. Barrels come down.
Yeah.
Knock everybody
Same
down.
freaking roofing hammer.
Now, once I said this earlier, we'll say it again. Just do this. Eventually, the ghost just picks up a roofing hammer and jacks Trump right in the middle of the head.
Or is it in the
Or
middle of
is
the
it?
head?
Because then, when Jim comes to and finds him
In the water.
in the water, he's just got a cut.
Yeah, it's a
cut
on his cheek.
It's not deep.
But
at
he's still
all.
dead.
He's
Kind
still
of,
dead.
but
he grabs him.
Yeah.
But then he's dead. It's like that's his last reflex is
Yeah.
grabbing his old buddy.
Yeah.
After they had this is really a romance story between Jim and Trump.
Yeah. Tawny's just in the way.
Yeah. Oh, they got a Ouija board from a mom and pop shop. I was like, I thought David was connected. Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. He's stabbed in the head. Big cut. Tawny gets a Ouija. She's in a silk robe.
Yeah. She gets it out of the trash. Yeah.
Yeah, she gets out of the trash. She tries to get a hold of David. David's not talking to her. She gets real mad. She gets so upset, and Trump keeps telling her she's gonna get possessed by this guy.
Right.
She
At
gets
some point,
obsessed
he
with
doesn't
it.
even need the board anymore. She is just an open portal.
Yeah,
now.
she's just an open portal because she's going to get obsessed with it. And the more she talks to it, the more he's going to act nice at first. He showed her that ring, but then he's going to start being mean to her. And that's what's happening now. So, of course, what do? When you're upset? You take off your silk robe and you have a shower. And this is when we get the most unsexy nude shots ever filmed.
Yeah. And the dumbest. Just.
She gets in the shower. And she shuts the door. The water comes running down, and then it gets real hot, I guess.
Yeah.
And
She jumps back.
She jumps back, and bam, the door won't open. Oh my God! It's the locked shower door, which I didn't know shower doors locked.
Well, they do when demons
I've never
are
had
around.
one. I've never had one locked because I'm poor.
She's got the shower head just at the wrong angle, so where there's nowhere in the shower that you can be without being hit by this hot water.
It. But what you pointed out earlier, all you have to do is move the shower head, and you would be fine.
Yeah, it's just shooting straight down at that point. That scene, the scariness over.
Yes, it's over. Instead, what she does is she pulls the towel like a psycho.
That she smartly had.
Like a psycho, she had it hanging over the edge of the shower, getting soaking wet.
Wraps it around her hand.
Wraps around her hands and busts out the glass.
Did you notice the glass?
Oh, the glass that looked. Yeah.
It was like yellow tinted versus the other door that was clear.
It looked nothing
nothing like the
glass
other door.
at all. Yeah, they
couldn't found.
they overcooked the glass.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is what happened to there. The sugar glass they used.
They're like screwed. Everybody's gonna be looking at her boobs. Nobody's gonna be looking.
That's
at
what
the
they
glass.
thought,
Yeah.
except you never got a good shot of her boobs because it was like a weird overhead shot where it's like, well, I don't get to see her boobs or butt or anything.
You do get to see her full at one point
When she comes out, but she's all in distress. Then
Right,
you're like, well,
yeah.
this
It's
isn't,
not sexy.
It's not like when Virginia Madison's bloody nude in the next movie.
You know what, dude? I was obsessed with her for a while. With Virginia Madison.
She's something else. We'll talk about her in the next week. I say lame. She looks better with the towel on than she did. She did. She tucked the towel in such a way that it was tied right here, and it was just like, let me put these mosquito bites together, and maybe you'll get excited. Not being such a dick for no reason.
Oh, by the way, Rip Tawny.
Oh yes, R.I.P. Rest in power, baby.
Jesus, this is going well.
It's okay. I won't isolate this clip and make it. Hey, we're out of time for WDBX 91.1. Beautiful downtown Carbondale. Thanks for listening, everybody. We are wrapping this one up. It's pretty much over.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been over.
Let's just do
since
it.
the start.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks for listening. If you want to listen to any more, and God, I don't know why you would, but I pray you do. Look up 2021 wherever podcasts are found, or on the YouTubes. So basically, yeah, she puts the towel on. Then we hear her scream. There's a whole thing. Then she's in a suit. She looks great. she looks fantastic.
Yeah,
she's got a fedora on. And
easily the best she's looking at. She looks like
absolutely.
You know, the music video people must have came and did her makeup at this point.
Yes, absolutely. Or maybe it was the first stuff they shot, and then that guy quit.
Yeah.
That could have been.
We can't pay you for the whole movie, dude.
She's attacking the hell out of Jim, and this is when we get the second big reveal of the movie. She's not the portal.
He is.
He is. Don't you know I came here to destroy your life? I'm destroying everybody in your life.
There was a little bit of a...
A little bit. I mean, it was better than nothing.
Yeah.
At this point, the movie needed something. Jesus. Yeah. It was just... She says, we got to close the portal. And then, what's old Jimmy going to do? He's going to take the Hemingway Highway.
Yeah.
Puts a gun to his head. All right. He didn't want to do it. And then, I don't quite understand what happened. Nor did I write it down. Nor do I care. But what's important is the Ouija board gets...
Gets shot to pieces.
Gets shot to pieces as it's flying through the air. So he gets her to like break the Linda, I know you're in there type of BS that you always see in movies. Yeah. And when she breaks it, he starts shooting the Ouija board.
The demon slowly gets weaker.
Yes, he gets weaker and weaker, and then somehow Jim gets thrown out the window. Another window death. You see him go out, and it's this weird blue screen thing they're doing where he's like falling. It looks horrible.
So bad.
And then it just cuts to black. And then it cuts to a church. And they're like, uh-oh, funeral time. They have somber music playing.
You missed one key point.
Oh, wait, yeah, what did I miss?
Where he,
sure I did.
Where he finally says, I love you.
Oh, that's all it took.
And that gave her the power to fight.
Power of love.
That gave her the power to fight back against the demon.
He Han Solo'd himself and fixed the world.
Yep.
All right, I did miss that.
Which is all about communication.
That's right. Hey, you're right. Once again.
We finally communicated.
Communication breakdown. Don't sue me, Led Zeppelin. Nonetheless, cuts to the funeral. Not a funeral. It's a wedding. Mm-hmm. It's a happy ending. They're getting married.
Lieutenant Dan.
And
Magic Flags.
And then they go back to the apartment, and one of the maids, somebody's cleaning up the place. And they're like, my sister had one of there's a story about the Ouija board, and they throw it in the trash. She said, you think that thing still works, all busted up? And then it zooms in on the word yes for what, 12 seconds?
Yeah, at least.
Then the planthier comes up. Like, you already had us there. And that's the end of
the bullet holes
Witchboard.
weren't quite as impressive in that scene as they were.
No, the bullet holes in the...
it just looked like somebody put their finger through it a couple times in that scene where they're cleaning up and they throw it.
It really did. It looked nothing like the other one at all. Well, we got to ask ourselves, like we do at the end of this movie, at the end of this podcast.
It did not.
It did not tie. Did this movie tie the room together? It did not. What's like I said at the beginning, we were supposed to watch Witch Trap.
Yes, which would have.
Would tie it together nicely from what I hear.
Yes.
So no, I don't recommend this movie for anybody unless you just want to make fun of Trump.
And maybe see Tawny Katane in the
Maybe
shower.
see Tawny Katane, but not really. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just a sicko perv that wants to see that, just Google it.
Well, yeah.
Are you upset that Google took away the nude after people's names?
Did they?
Back in the day, you could type in
Yeah.
blah blah blah
Britney Spears nude.
and it would just finish it
Yeah.
nude, right? No, I mean for years that's been like
Now you have to actually type it out.
you
if
actually have to
want
type it in. It will
What
never.
a bunch of jerks.
It will never finish it because that's not cool. They don't want me looking at Britney Spears,
Oh, baby,
the sexiest lady of all time.
She's no Anna Kournikova.
She's no Tawny Katane's medium. All right, shout out to her. No, this doesn't tie together. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching all the things. We love you. And next week we will be back with
We'll be back.
Candyman.
Candyman.
Be my victim.
The original Candyman.
The original Candyman, 1996.
2.
Be my
92.
Was it 92?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I got it written down.
I wrote it down incorrectly. I thought there's no way this was 96. All right. See you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Obviously, you're not a golfer.
You want to toe? I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know about it. Believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. That rug really tied the room together, did it not?